Hey guys, welcome to today's episode of Quickies from Top Guns out of Terre Haute, Indiana. Often we look at people who are carrying guns out in public, and you ever wonder why sometimes when you're looking at that person, you can see that gun and it's kind of bulging out, and it's very obvious that they're carrying a firearm. There are ways that we can, or steps that we can take to help us be better at concealing our firearm. There's a few components that go into that will make us successful at that. So naturally, having the right size firearm is going to be probably first and foremost. If you have a giant gun the size of an Uzi, then it's going to be hard to conceal. But if you have an average size firearm, maybe a Glock 19 size or potentially a little smaller than that, then that shouldn't be hard to conceal even on a smaller frame individual. It really comes down to how you dress and what you're using to conceal it. So in addition to having obviously good pants and an untucked shirt or something of that nature, the two components that I would say fall into or come into play most important, one would be the holster. A high quality holster is paramount, but today's video is not necessarily about the holster. Today's video is more about the second item, and that is the belt. And so often we neglect to choose the right type of belt system for what we are going to be doing. And so for those of us that are putting some weight on that belt, then having a good belt that doesn't flex and doesn't twist is pretty important. I personally choose belt systems that have what appears to be almost like a zip tie or a ratcheting system. And so are you able to get that in there? Mm-hmm. All right, so the way these work basically is as you're putting your belt on, you can hear that just like you'd hear a zip tie, and it's never at the wrong spot. So often when you're dealing with like a leather belt or something that you've always got a hole and you got another hole, and sometimes you need a hole right between the two. With this, I find that doesn't ever happen, because in between where there would be two holes, in this particular system, you have about 4 different slots of increments. And so what that does, so it's quick on, it's quick off, and it just zips back and forth. The other thing is it's extremely rigid, so it's not going to flex and bend, giving your firearm that much more stability when you're trying to conceal. Why is that important? Well, sometimes when you're seeing someone carrying a firearm, it's because their firearm's twisting outward because the belt itself isn't staying sturdy and keeping that rigidness that's needed to keep the holster in place. Hopefully this helps. By the way, the one that we happen to sell here at the shop is called Next Belt. I do wear one every day. I won't go back to another belt at this point. They are just by far one of the best products that I have come across. There's a couple other the ratcheting belt systems that are also good as well, so don't feel like you have to have that brand. But I have found the Next Belt to be aesthetically really, really sharp. They have tactical versions, they have dress versions, and they have casual dress versions. And but I also like the fact that it is a very good product, and it also is aesthetically pleasing, and they're not overly expensive. So hopefully this helps. Post down below if you have something different that you like, and or if you have experience with the Next Belt, and also don't hesitate to post some questions. Take care.